Welcome back, my friends, to the number one football podcast in the world, Mes Que Un Podcast. We are down one king today. Pablo, we're going to miss you, but we've got a suitable stand-in. We've got Markaroni, excuse me, Markaroni here in the house to join us again. I know, just flubbing it from the start. Markaroni is here to join Buga and I. We're going to be discussing, of course, the 5-1 win versus Sevilla, but most of today's podcast is going to be focused on the week up ahead. Two big fixtures for Barcelona. We're talking Bayern Munich. We're talking Real Madrid. We'll discuss Barcelona's starting 11, a combined 11, predictions, and more. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Drop a like if you're already subscribed, and leave your comments down below throughout. We want to get your thoughts. We want to get your opinions. We want to get your questions. We'd love to hear from you. With that out of the way, Marka, welcome back, sir. How are we feeling after today's win?
Oh, better than ever. It has been a good day for us, right? We have been eating good since morning. First, we woke up to a Messi hat-trick, and then Barcelona just cooked right there. So, I mean, it has been really pleasant to watch Barcelona play this way. And today as well, against Sevilla. Obviously, wasn't expecting the match to be tough, honestly. Like we all know, Sevilla has been a side that has been struggling quite a bit for past majoritively 2 seasons. This season they haven't had a good start either. So I was expecting Barcelona to win this match comfortably, which we did. Was expecting a clean sheet, but okay, that I think once again we'll discuss it eventually. Barcelona's high line is obviously a major issue for them to keep a clean sheet, and it's going to be very tough against teams like Bayern and Real Madrid. But I'm happy. A part of that, a heavily rotated defeat against Osasuna. We have been perfect in every game.
Yeah, amen to that. Since this is your first time coming on since the change from Xavi to Hansi Flick, one of the things I did want to ask you, what or who has stood out for you this season for Barcelona now that we have Hansi in charge and we're seeing a bit of a different Barcelona?
See, though I'd like to name probably each and every player in that aspect because everyone has looked like different, totally different. But one player I in particular would really like to appreciate a lot is going to be Robert Lewandowski, because multiple reasons. See, first of all, I've always believed in it that the way Robert Lewandowski was playing back under Xavi, he was obviously the outlet to everything. One positive part of Hansi Flick's football is that we're not dependent on Robert Lewandowski of being the sole output, though we were under Xavi. So whenever Robert Lewandowski was struggling, we were struggling as a team. But I would say that even at this age, like he's 36, the amount of improvement he has shown from last season to this season is unbelievable. That is like, you don't expect a 36-year-old to work on himself so much. And I've been watching a lot of training videos of him, him staying back. Even after the entire team has left, he usually stays there, practices more, just to make sure, because he's taking that ownership, he's taking that, the pressure he has of everyone around him, and he's delivering on it. So while everyone in the team is also playing good, but something that has surprised me, because everybody else is playing on great potential. Like we all expect other Barcelona players to be this good eventually. But Robert Lewandowski is somebody whom I was not expecting that is going to get this good suddenly. So he's going to be somebody that stands out for me.
Yeah, love that. Appreciate that, Marka. Buga, over to you, sir. Waiting patiently. How we doing? How we feeling after this Sevilla win?
Nah, it's good, bro. It's good to have Barcelona back the way we all want them to play. I think it's entertaining to see a team, attacking-wise, not only winning games by 1-0. I think this is something where you just want to keep on seeing who scores. And for me, that's something I kept missing. Like, who's going to score the next goal? That is always something that keeps me hooked to the game. And we're seeing that with Hansi Flick right now currently. And that, for me, is the most important thing. I would say that you asked, like, who's the most important one. I agree with Marka there. I think Lewandowski is just at another level currently. I don't know what it is. I just think that being much closer and being much more focused on just playing within the box and being like a poacher, that's way more the sort of player we want to see at this stage of his career. And I believe that under Xavi, he was being exploited more as, try to do a little bit of everything. And he's not that sort of guy. So we need to take Lewandowski into account just because he's improving at such tremendous trade, and this is the best version we have definitely seen of Robert Lewandowski. And it's surprising that it comes alongside also being the oldest version of the same player. So
I keep saying you guys, 36 is not that old. Okay, I just have to remind you guys, 36.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, my
it's
boy,
personal
John.
over here.
As the elder on this podcast, who happens to also be 36, it's not that old, you guys.
No. He's just 36. Just
36. Yeah, a fresh 36. No, but I hear you. It is definitely a turnaround for Lewandowski, and I think to both of your points, we've discussed how Hansi Flick is really unlocking the best of most of these players, really getting them to their highest potential. And I don't want to immediately nitpick or take a turn to negative town here. We did see Ansu Fati get the start. What did you guys think of his performance today? Marka, I'll start with you, sir.
Okay, so see, I mean, though there are a lot of negatives that I could list down, because obviously he was playing in a team which is so used to playing that high intensity of football, such a rapid speed, and I usually see most Barcelona players almost every time picking the right pass, making the right decision. So, but I could, if I list down the negatives, I would have a lot of things about Ansu Fati's game today. But
Sure.
I personally, because he has been, recovering from such a serious injury, he became really, really slow, lethargic in his turns and everything. I really appreciate the way he's moving. He's much more faster. He's arriving in spaces which you expect a player of Barcelona's level to be in time. He's pressing good. He's doing way better than what he was doing before, when he was not getting given much chances. He was not given much minutes, because whenever he was given minutes, it seemed like he's the slowest of the bunch. But at least in today's match, I would say so that yes, at times his decision making, and it seemed like he wanted to do something extraordinary at times, because of which he was not really able to do the right thing. So there are a lot of negatives. I'm not going to disagree with that. But if I have to highlight some positives of his inclusion, because this was his first start, if I'm not wrong, I would say he was quicker than I expected, than what I've seen. And I expect him to slowly grow. I would not be very impatient with him. I would be fine if he develops slowly towards the end of the season. But I would like to see some positives in every match.
Okay, so you're looking for him to really kind of find his form over time. We're not really expecting him to hit the ground running like get on Lamine Yamal's level right away or anything like that.
Yeah.
Buga, you have any thoughts on Ansu's performance today?
I think that Ansu Fati was a bit out of tune with all the rest of the other players. That's for me the one thing that whenever he got it, he looked a bit one or two steps behind the rhythm, the pace of the other players. So I think that for me is not a bit worrying, but it's just simply you haven't seen him play a lot of minutes. And the more minutes that he gets, I think the faster he will get back into rhythm. And that will be one of the things I wouldn't say I would judge Hansi Flick on, but I kind of want to see how he handles that situation, because if Barcelona gets Ansu Fati back, let's be clear, it will be a deadly asset to the attack. That if Ansu Fati can recover and get back to it, that was going to be amazing. It's going to be insane.
Yeah, I think we would, if we get a prime Ansu Fati, I think we say goodbye to any rumors of a Nico Williams, of any other left wing that we've been looking at. Prime Ansu Fati trumps all those guys. I would love to see it. I think it is going to require some patience, but I think it's a great sign that even though he's not quite there yet, he's not really up to match fitness, he's getting the start. Hansi Flick does believe in him. He could have easily started a Pau Victor on that left side. He could have, with the return of some of our midfielders, pushed one of them out to that left wing, gone with something different there. But there's still faith from Hansi Flick. And if Hansi believes in Ansu, I'm going to believe in Ansu. So wasn't quite there today. And in fact, I made a note around the 55th minute. I kind of forgot he was on the pitch. But there's a lot of firepower for Barcelona. So he's got the space, he's got the time. And I think, like you guys said, let's be patient, and he'll get there, right? Speaking of patience, let's turn to a positive note. We had to wait for it, but it's GAVI day, baby. Oh. GAVI's back. He got his 10 minutes today, right? A little bit less, I think, maybe. But that was to be expected, I think. Was anybody expecting him to get more minutes? Are we happy with what he got there as Buga drops off? I think he's fixing his camera. So, Marka, over to you, sir. What do you think about Gavi's return today?
Oh, very happy to see him back on the pitch. Very happy, man. Like, obviously, it goes without saying, one of those players that every Barcelona fan loves. Like, we were waiting for him to get back. Somebody we missed so much. I think he was one of those. The more I speak, it's gonna be less. He's those kind of a player. So we all love him. Adorable in every aspect.
Yeah.
But we all missed him definitely more than 1 year. Around 1 year, he has been out of action.
Almost a full year, yeah.
Almost a full year. So I would say that I was actually fine with him playing 10 to 15 minutes even till the end of the season. I'm not even kidding. I'll tell you why. I have my very big reason for that. After what happened to Ansu Fati, after what happened with Pedri, after seeing so many young football players of Barcelona becoming injury prone, I didn't want us to rush Gavi in a way that, okay, he's playing. See, ACL injuries are not the type of injuries that, Ansu Fati or Pedri, for example, let's just say. It's a impact injury. You land in a very difficult position, or you get hit in a very difficult position. It ends up leading to an injury. Might not make you very, it might not be a very repetitive injury, but at the same time, it might make your knees or whatever that has been damaged very weak. So I was fine with, I had made up my mind that even if Gavi plays barely few minutes this season, like he comes in matches as cameos, I would be fine with it. At the end, I just want him so that from the next season, he's 100%. Like, I don't want him to be risked. I don't want that he plays a few games and then there is another injury, then he's gone for 6 months. I don't want to get into that cycle, because we have already lost a lot of players to that. We have lost Ansu Fati to that cycle. We have lost a lot of Pedri to that cycle. So, I mean, I just want us to be precautious in case of Gavi, because we have absolutely no player of that profile, man. We have no player of that profile in the entire squad. So I don't want him to be risked at any point.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys heard during the broadcast, but they brought up how Hansi Flick was asked, where do you see Gavi playing? And he was like, well, he could be a 6, he could be an 8, he could be a playmaker, he could be out on the wing. He could, like, the list just kept going on and on and on. You could put Gavi anywhere, and he's absolutely a fan favorite. I haven't seen that kind of reception to a player returning in quite some time. And even all of his teammates stopped what they're doing and applauded Gavi coming back. That's what he means to the fan base. That's what he means to the club. It's absolutely amazing. Fugo, what your thoughts on Gavi's return?
Nah, man, Gavi, like I said, I was excited for you. You put on a group chat, it's Gavi Day, baby. And I was like, it really is. It really is. Like, it's just so exciting to have someone of that character back into the squad. And you know what? I think that Flick managed it perfectly, because I was hearing the commentary as well. And in the commentary, the guy was saying, like, hey, I think Barcelona has still one more substitute window left and one more substitute that they can make. And it's probably going to be Pedri out for Gavi in. And then it's going to be Pedri giving the armband to Gavi. And exactly that happened. And, I think that it's like cinema in the making. Someone was writing that script, and Hansi Flick understood exactly what Barcelona needed. And I think the values, he has understand how this club works and how fans feel from it, and I think he has managed that perfectly. Gavi coming in, getting the armband, even though we have never even considered Gavi as a captain, right? I mean, considered by fans, but the club hasn't announced anything official or whatnot. Like, it's so many players now that Gavi has to kind of surpass to even get that armband. But for a situation like this, it makes perfect sense. Like, I think, and I'm just kind of really leading back to the result. When you start a game really good in the first half and you already score 3 goals and it's kind of already game, set, and match, it allows you to then have the complete control and handle of the script. That's what I believe it gives you, that advantage, to that possibility to, with your substitutions, dictate what's going to happen by the end of the game. And that is something that Barcelona hasn't have. And I'll say it, since even the very maybe first or second season with Ernesto Valverde. Like that ability to just dictate and always be in control of the game, we haven't been that in a while.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good to see this Barcelona. I love what I'm seeing. 21 shots, 9 on target, 68% possession, but 90% passing accuracy. That's always something, that last stat that I tend to focus on. Barcelona, known for their possession, known for their ability to control the match. When we're hitting the high 80s, 90% even and above passing accuracy, you know we're clicking on all cylinders. And really top to bottom, we're seeing it. I was really impressed. Koundé with 2 assists today. You know, when Koundé's getting assists, you know we're doing well. The other thing that stood out to me, I know it's, you know, people kind of dig on goals coming from the penalty spot, but it is an art. And in my opinion, if my life was on the line and I got one guy to take the penalty, I think it's going to be Robert Lewandowski. I don't know if there's anybody else that I would really trust that much. He's cool, he's calm, he's collected, easy peasy, setting the keeper the wrong way, tucks it in like a sweet little baby for nap time. Loving what I'm seeing from Robert Lewandowski, and then gets a second, a true poacher's goal. So he really stood out to me. Anybody else have standout players for this match?
I have one that comes into my head quickly, and that's Rafinha. I think that Rafinha, even though this wasn't like, you know, a stellar performance from him, I don't know if he gave a goal or an assist in this game. He didn't give an assist, any of it, I think.
I don't think so, no.
No.
I think he would have got the assist for Robert Lewandowski's second goal. You know, the one which Robert Lewandowski. I think he must have got the assist for that.
So even in a bad game, he gets an assist. So that's what I mean. It's not a bad game, but for me, in this game, he showed more of just being a creative player. Like he was tracking back. It's even in constant positions. He was kind of recovering the ball from a left back area. He was winning it back. He was tracking the runner. All of those things, for me, Rafinha is a very emotional player. And having the armband on Rafinha, that just boosts that to the next level. It makes Rafinha kind of, you know what he stands for. And I think that he's becoming that sort of player. Even when I saw Rafinha play my lovely Peru, who got smashed 4-0 by Brazilian international break, you can see that even he has carried that sort of motivation and that attitude from Barcelona to the national team, because by a landslide, he was the only player trying things on that field for Brazil. So it tells you that it's much more than just simply form for Rafinha. You know, it's. I think there must be things going on backstage that he just Hansi Flick has put a foot on it, and it has taken him to the next level. So I want to praise Rafinha for that. He's the example of what I believe a Barcelona player should be.
Yeah, love that. Any other talking points from this match? I know everyone's really excited for us to get to Bayern Munich and Real Madrid previews, but I don't want to skip anything if we got anything else on our mind from this 5-1 win over Sevilla.
I think Buga has perfectly summed it up for now. Casado was, I would say, yet another bright point. He was good. But as I said, most of the players are doing their duties right.
Yeah.
You look at Inigo, you look at Kubasi. You have, if you start talking about one player, it's like you just can't surpass the other player. You can't not talk about the other players because everyone is doing their job at this point. So that's really good to see. Everyone is taking their duties, their responsibilities well. And as Buga said, I mean, Rafinha has been one of the best players for Barcelona this season. Not just in this game, he has been the best player for Barcelona this season. He has been everything to this team, whether it be their off-ball pressing, whether it be their creativity, whether it be their counters, whether it be their fallbacks, their set pieces. He has been everything to this team. So, I mean, he has, for me, definitely top 3 player for Barcelona this season. Rafinha, top notch.
Yeah, amen to that. No arguments there. Okay. Whew. We're taking care of business. And now we're going to go into really our most challenging week so far this year. Maybe the most challenging week that we'll face all season, depending on how the fixtures line up. We've got Bayern Munich on Wednesday. We've got Real Madrid on Saturday. This will be 3 matches, including this one against Sevilla. 3 matches in 6 days for Barcelona. So let me start out with this. of the two matches, Barcelona versus Bayern, Barcelona versus Real Madrid, which one is more important for Barcelona to get the win?
Oh my God.
I
You
know.
want to answer that first, Marka?
See, I would say there are two answers. One is going to be my personal answer, which match I want to see Barcelona win, and then which match makes sense. Like if let's say we can win only one match out of the two, then which match makes sense to me? See, if let's just say that between both the matches, only one match you can win, so it would make sense to win the El Clasico. Okay, it will guarantee your spot at least for some time on the top of the table. So that is gonna increase the gap that you have with Real Madrid. Gonna put pressure on them. Gonna give you some time because it's a long season, man. It's a long season.
Sure.
You can't really let Real Madrid be just 1 or 2 points behind you. You need to have that extended lead over them. So that would make more sense, like technically speaking, from a team's point of view. If you would ask me personally, I would like to see Barcelona win against Bayern Munich because I think as a fan we have seen so much. Like, see, it's more like big games in Champions League are more of a mental block for Barcelona at this point, not just an on-field tactical or a player level block. It's a mental block. You go into matches, you see, we have seen matches like PSG. We have faced Bayern Munich multiple times in previous Champions Leagues. And we have seen that even if we are in the driver's seat in most occasions, there are one or two instances and we just crumble apart. So I want to see this not happen once in a big match in Champions League. And I want to see that happen with this squad. And Bayern Munich is a perfect team for that. See, they're one of the best squads in Europe right now. They're one of the best teams in Europe right now. They were defeated by Aston Villa last game, so that is possible. So with all the things taken into consideration, they're going to have quite a few misses against Barcelona as well. If I'm not wrong, a lot of Bayern players are going to be missing that match. I think this is a point where Barcelona can pull it off. So as a fan, I would prefer to watch Barcelona beat Bayern Munich. But technically speaking, from a team's point of view, obviously defeating Real Madrid should be the first priority.
Yeah. Okay. Buga, where are you at with things?
To be honest, I don't agree there because I think Real Madrid is, for me, the more important. For me, Real Madrid is more important. If I had to pick one game to win, it would be Real Madrid. I think that Bayern Munich and the Champions League, particularly at the stage of where we're at, the format of the competition, things like that, those variables, they're not set on stone. I think it's a little bit of sort of external to what Barcelona might be happening right now. Barcelona might lose to Bayern Munich on Wednesday, but we still may qualify. We still may win everything. That's the best way I can put it. But beating Real Madrid is putting your stamp over the current Champions League holders and literally saying to the world, hey, I can beat the best team. You know, it's not I'm just beating Bayern Munich, who's, I think that if I'm talking to any fan, they're just going to throw to the ring, to the table, hey, it's managed by company. That's literally everything everyone is going to say. So it's Real Madrid, it's Ancelotti, it's Bellingham, it's Mbappe, it's Vinicius, it's Rodrigo, it's Valverde. It's all of these names and you beat them. For me, that's something you can never take away from it. And particularly because the way that Barcelona is playing at the moment, we need this win so much. It takes you further forward in La Liga. It puts that stamp down. And look, I do think there's a world where we can win both games. I think that is possible. So if that happens, that's a 180 for Barcelona fans right there. It will be the best week in a while, in a really, really long time. So I think the Real Madrid, though, if you got me to choose one game, who do you want to win? 3 points against Bayern or 3 points against Real Madrid? For me, it's 3 points against Real Madrid. Like, of course, it's going to be a pain against Bayern Munich, but one game in the history of the legacy, we've only beat Bayern Munich, I think, 2 times in the total 15 history we've had with them. So what is one more match gonna do? You know, like one more match gonna do against Real Madrid? They can say the very same thing, but come on, that's our rivals. That's the team we need to win. Think about it. Think about the stakes. Think about not only winning but about losing. what happens if Barcelona loses against Bayern Munich? Yeah, sure, there's going to be a ruckus, but you lose to Real Madrid, just think about everything that's going to come down. Players are going to not have the confidence to continue believing in like they have the best, they're in good form. They're going to start doubting themselves. Fans are going to start doubting themselves. We're going to start thinking we're really not the team that we are supposed to look, the way that we're looking. We should be better, stuff like that. So for me, take the win against Real Madrid. That's my priority at the moment. I think that Flick is prioritizing both games, of course, but if I'm the manager, I'm going all in for Real Madrid at the Bernabeu.
I am very torn by this. I think what's making me lean the way that I'm leaning is the order of the fixtures. I think because we're playing Bayern first, if we get that win, and let's say it's a hard match, let's say we get the win, but we get beat up a little bit, and there's tired legs going into the weekend. For me, it's more understandable in that situation to drop points against Real Madrid. Not that it's less of a priority, not that it won't sting, not that we can afford to give up those points in La Liga, but I think from the fan perspective, if we get the win against Bayern and then we just kind of run out of steam towards the end of the week, you can use that almost as the scapegoat versus we lose against Bayern and from the viewpoint of the world of football, we haven't progressed at all, which stings a bit. So, but screw the perspectives. Who cares, right? It's about getting the points. Oh, I'm back and forth on it. I really am. If I could only take a win in one, I guess Real Madrid. It would give us a 6-point lead going into the month of November, which is surmountable, of course. But I don't know. I really am back and forth. I guess I'll go for a Clasico win.
See, from the logical side, obviously, El Clasico makes sense. Like, there is no debate.
Yeah.
From the logical sense, winning El Clasico, as Buga put it rightly so, it just puts you on that pedestal.
But we haven't beat Bayern Munich in almost 10 years.
As I said, from the emotional point of view, as a fan, we want to see Barcelona do good at a big stage in Champions League against a big opponent. Like, that is why I put it in two columns. Like, logically, Real Madrid takes all the points. But for me, emotionally, like, winning Bayern Munich is very important. And
it is.
As
my
said,
heart and my mind are battling right now.
And as Buga said, there's an alternative universe where we are winning both matches. So I just hope
baby,
that we are living in that one. I just hope.
Well, let's play this out then. What if we get a draw in both? How are we feeling about things?
I would still take that.
Yeah,
I would appreciate if we don't lose any matches. Not losing is more important.
That is a good way of putting it, actually. I think with how close these fixtures are, it's still early in the Liga season. We still got plenty of matches left in the group stage of Champions League. So, yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. Not losing is almost more important than winning in these. Wow, and now that we've said that, Buga, do you think that's going to influence how Hansi approaches these matches at all, kind of playing not to lose?
Nah, I don't think Hansi Flick is that sort of man. Not even no, that sort of man. Like, he's not that sort of guy, But I see where you're coming from. Like, losing in these games is far more important. Like, dude, I don't know how to say it, but you don't want to lose any of these games because you win less. You have way more things to lose in games like this than actually winning them. Like, you get less from winning. So I don't know. I think the best way possible to handle this for Hansi Flick, I'm going to leave it out of the branches. Can you reel me in? What was the question?
Is it okay? Like, what would be your reaction if we get 2 draws from these? And is it more important to not lose versus to win?
I mean, it's fine. It depends on the draws as well. Like, if there are both draws in the last few minutes, that's a win. Like, that's how football works. If it's a loss where they equalize in the last minute, then it's a loss. So I think it's very relative. But it will be okay. Like it would be okay. Particularly because, I mean, if you guarantee me the draw against Real Madrid, win against Bayern, that's a that's the way I would say about it. Like for me, Real Madrid is the one you cannot lose. Bayern Munich, it's the same thing as well, though. It's a very important game, to be honest, for both of them. It's just insane. My mind keeps going back and forth. It's just too big of a game.
Yeah, for sure. Let us know down in the comments, everybody. What are you thinking about this? Which is a more important match to win? How would you feel if we get a draw in both? What's at stake here? What are you thinking? What are you feeling? We want to hear you down in the comments there. Shall we talk a starting 11 for Barca in this Bayern match? Again, only a few days away. We're playing here on Wednesday, and then the quick turnaround for Saturday. Shall we dive into a starting 11, boys?
Sure.
Let's go.
Okay. I don't expect to see much rotation. For me, I'll just go ahead and hit you with it. I would pretty much go with what we saw here versus Sevilla, except I would get Dani Olmo in for Ansu Fati, slide Rafinha back out wide. So I'm talking Koundé, Kubarsi, Martinez, Balde, Casado and Pedri, Lamine, Olmo, Rafinha, and Lewandowski up top. And then, surprisingly, Inaki Peña between the posts. I thought we'd be sitting here talking about Chesney, but the fact that he hasn't gotten any playing time for Barca, I can't imagine, right? And I think Hansi has even come out and said it's going to be Peña, not Chesney between the posts.
Yep, right. Same. I'd go for the same. As you said, that instead of Ansu Fati, you are going to be picking Dani Olmo. I'll picking between Dani Olmo or Frankie de Jong, whoever is fitter, like depending on their fitness. Because Dani Olmo didn't get any minutes today. He's also back from an injury. He didn't get it, maybe because he wants to keep him fresh for the Bayern game, and it may be that he plays there. So that would be good too. But even if he's not the one starting, I would love to see Frankie de Jong with Casado and then Pedri up top. So either way, that's the only change that I'm expecting to. The lineup is supposed to be same, a part of that.
It does give us a little defensive boost in the midfield compared to Casado and Pedri, I think. Where are you at?
Look, I think it's very interesting. I was also thinking the same thing about it's. I don't think it's going to be Dani Olmo straight from the get-go because he hasn't gotten any minutes in this game. I think if you were to play on Wednesday, you would have get some minutes, particularly to stretch your legs, seeing that we're like, 3-0 up in halftime already. So you could have rotated whenever you wanted in the second half. He didn't play anything. So I particularly think it's more going to be about Frankie de Jong, and I really wouldn't put it out there. Like I wouldn't stretch it out there that maybe GAVI or Fermin gets into the lineup. I really wouldn't. I really wouldn't be surprised. Why do I say that? Because I think that they have already gotten the minutes here. Maybe Hansi Flick, strikes me as someone who looks at the fitness, something very important. He knows that anything wrong with his fitness, the whole pressure starts to crumble again. And he had plenty of options, like I said, to put in these players in this game against Sevilla, and he didn't. So that for me is the biggest indication that right now, when it comes to the pecking order in terms of fitness, maybe something it's different, right? Why would you put Frankie de Jong in after not playing this game when he had a knock? Like it just doesn't make any sense to me. So I think that certainly Fermin could be playing in this game, or I also wouldn't be surprised if Ansu Fati played as well. Like we've seen at the start of the season, Ferran Torres not having a good game, but Flick consistently trusts him.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So Ansu Fati, if he saw Fati today, how he played he played all the minutes, almost all the minutes, right?
Yeah, he came off pretty late. Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if Fati plays against Bayern from the start. We're almost because look, if Fati wasn't ready when Eddie Garcia got injured during the pre-training or whatnot, somebody else would have come in,
Yeah.
Not Fati. So Fati right now looks to me as the only player that we have on the bench that can play the full 90 minutes, or at least like 60% of those minutes.
I would say that the choice of Ansu Fati here in this match particularly was because we were playing Sevilla. I believe Sevilla, as I said, like we all know that it was supposed to be an easy game. and that is why it might be true that because he has been given so many minutes, and Buga said the right thing that Hansi Flick really put in the faith with Ferran Torres as well. So it might be the case, but I personally don't expect that to happen against Bayern Munich, because that's, as we all know, a big game, and midfield is a place which Barcelona would want to control, like by any means. So I mean, putting in an extra midfielder instead of Rafinha, like keeping, because putting in Rafinha instead of Ansu Fati and then having an extra midfielder is like having two extra midfielders, because you're not just putting in Frankie de Jong, for example. Rafinha is going to drop in anyways. He's somebody that tucks in, helps you in the midfield if you need it. So that is going to really increase the number in the midfield. So from that sense, I feel like picking a midfielder makes a lot of sense. Could be, I don't expect it to be Gavi, personally. Could be him. I don't expect him to start though. My starting 11 would still, I think, be between Frankie or Dani Olmo, depending on who is in a better shape. But yeah, Fermin Lopez could be a good shout as well.
Oh, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. I know we're going to do a combined 11, but I feel like it almost makes more sense to talk about a starting 11 versus Real Madrid now as well, just to compare and contrast a little bit. Because for me, I know he's just coming back, and maybe it does depend on how much playing time he gets versus Bayern. I would start Gavi against Real Madrid, because I think the Bayern match is going to be a little bit more technical and not as gritty as the Real Madrid match. I think it's going to be a bit of a dogfight in the El Clasico, and you want the Bulldog out there. You want to get him those minutes. So with respect to his injury and match fitness, against Real Madrid, I might go Frankie, Pedri, Gavi, Lamine, Lewandowski, Rafinha, same back four.
I think saving Dani Olmo to off the bench, like we saw against Rayo Vallecano, can still be a good wild card. So
yeah,
I'm thinking about these games as two isolated events. Like, how can I get the win out of here? It's not like I'm not thinking about these games of like what's going to be the impact after them. I'm thinking about particularly like in their own vacuum, 90 minutes. Let's play this game. And I think that if Dani Olmo is not at 100%, you better keep him off the bench fresh coming in. And I'm still going with the same. I think that the Bayern lineup would mostly be very similar to the Real Madrid lineup. I would almost bet that it would be the same thing.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. Particularly because the way that Hansi Flick plays, we've even seen it with Iñaki Peña, in the sense that I sent a tweet out saying that it's not a surprise for me that Chesney's not there. I mean, I would have liked to see Chesney playing, but I am surprised that in a way it's like you need to respect the sort of hierarchy for the players, because if not, everything's going to crumble. You need to respect that Iñaki Peña hasn't put anything wrong, hasn't done anything wrong yet. So how can you, let's say, what excuse would you use to just take him out of the team? You're not good enough? I mean, that's okay, like if you want to be that guy. But for me, his Flick is very, very, like I mentioned before, he understands the way that the club moves around, how to sort of manage these players. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it's the same team. I wouldn't be surprised if there's already sort of hierarchy. And even I wouldn't be surprised if they have already talked about already all together, like, okay, this is what's going to happen. And he already has his substitutions lined up, because it seems that whenever a player is, I go back to the time where Ansu Fati was almost came in and he didn't. I don't know which game was it, but he was ready to come in and he didn't. It's like, I think that hierarchy is already set there. Hansi Flick has spoken to the players, so let's see how it goes.
Okay. Marka, what do you think? Marka may have frozen there for a second. No, he's with us. Okay. Marka, what do you think? Are we going to see changes from Bayern to Real Madrid, or are you thinking, like what Buga said, maybe it's the same 11?
See, obviously that depends on how the game goes, first of all. If, like, for example, let's just say that we have a very positive result out of the Bayern game, it would not make sense to make much changes going in the next game against Real Madrid. Okay. Coming on to as you mentioned, the Gavi point, though it obviously makes sense. Like, if Gavi was fit and I'm playing against Real Madrid, that is the first name I'm putting on the team sheet. Like, Gavi, okay, we are playing Gavi, and now let's see.
Yeah.
Nah, that's where we build from if we are playing Real Madrid. But as I said before, like, for me personally, too early, I would like to take the similar lineup from Bayern Munich to Real Madrid, make a couple of changes depending on the performances. I think if Frenkie de Jong is fit, this is his time to prove his worth to the team, these 2 matches. Because in comparison to all the players that we have, like, if, for example, Dani Olmo plays in this match, he doesn't play that good. He's not of that much of use. People are still going to be very patient with him, with everyone else.
Yeah.
But I think taking all things into consideration, these 2 matches are the matches where you expect Frenkie de Jong to finally step up and tell people that, okay, I am worth the wait, the patience that the fan base has given to me. Certainly in a situation where all the players around him have been so injured, he had a little bit of discomfort and he was given rest. The man just said that he was fine today. He had discomfort yesterday, but he was fine today.
Yeah.
So I hope that he's playing both matches and playing good. If not playing both matches, my second priority or second option is going to be Dani Olmo.
Oh. Okay, I'm excited, boys. These matches can't come soon enough. Honestly, I wish we were playing them tomorrow and the next day. I want to get these in. I want to get these done. It was good to see Barcelona come back, especially after an international break, jumping a little bit back again. A lot of times when you see Barcelona, and a lot of clubs, to be fair, but as someone who watches a lot of Barcelona coming back from an international break, we're sluggish, we're a little bit disconnected, but none of that. So I'm gonna trust in Hansi that he's gonna have the right lineups, that he's gonna get everybody's head in the right space. Because I think, Marka, to your point, that's a big part of this, right? The Bayern Munich match in particular, making sure that we don't have that mental block going into this. So I'm pumped for it. I'm ready. I'm excited. Any other talking points on starting 11? Should we give? Let's maybe give. Let's do combined 11, and then we'll do predictions. How about that?
Yeah.
Sure. Let's go.
Okay. All right. So Bayern Munich first. Let's maybe go line by line. Let's start in the back. Who's starting between the posts?
Manuel Neuer.
Yeah, Manuel Neuer.
Was there? Would there have been any chance if Chesney, had already played one game?
No.
I feel like
that.
Yeah, somebody would have made the argument if he came out and, had a clean sheet today and had some amazing saves or something like that. You could maybe be silly and make the argument, but no, realistically, it's Manuel Neuer. It would be interesting if we had a fit Ter Stegen. That would be an interesting debate, but I think it would still go to Neuer.
Nagelsmann would disagree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'd pick Manuel Neuer any day.
Yeah. All right. So back four then. Buga, let's start with you, sir. Who you got in your back four of combined 11 for Barcelona and Bayern Munich?
So I actually went a bit more Barca than you, and I know that. So I went Koundé, Cubarsí, Íñigo Martínez, and Alphonso Davies. I think right now I'm not surprised with any of the center backs of Bayern Munich. I think Upamecano is the best that they have, but even so, for me, it's worthwhile, just pointing out, highlighting how good the pair of Íñigo and Cubarsí have been. This game today, every duel they win, and that's insane, dude. That's absolutely insane, particularly because we saw Íñigo like this last season. I remember the game against Napoli where Osimhen just pushed him out of the way, and forever I thought like, you know what, you're another guy, and I almost crossed him off for the entirety of his career. But now he's come back, he's been really good, and Cubarsí, like 17 years of age and doing what he's doing right now, that's insane as well. So for me, kudos to them too, and for them, they're my starting players. Davies for Balde is also an interesting debate. I'm wondering if anybody of you have put Balde in there.
Nah, I got Davies. He's just a little step ahead. He's got a couple more years of experience. I think he just notches out Balde. But next to him, I've got Kubarsi. But then I did go Upamecano because I think we're seeing maybe just the little chink in the armor of Barcelona in that high line where Martinez and Kubarsi aren't the fastest.
No.
I think we can admit that. Upamecano gives you that pace, gives you that power. So I'd be going Kubarsi, Upamecano, and then Koundé on the right-hand side. Marka, who you got?
I've got Koundé on the right-hand side, Davies on the left-hand side, so that's common for all of us.
Yeah.
The centre-back pairing that I have is, I initially planned of putting both Barcelona centre-backs, but then I thought that it's going to be a bit far-fetched to have both centre-backs of Barcelona, though I want to so badly because they have been perfect together. But I've gone for I'll go for the centre-back partnership of Kim Min-jae and Pau Kubasi. Because
Kim Min-jae.
the positions they play as well.
Yeah.
Because, and Kim Min-jae, like I haven't watched Bayern Munich a lot this season, but then obviously I started watching them like 3 days back. I've been watching a few of their matches. Kim Min-jae has seemed solid to me. There have been instances where, and Upamecano, there are instances where still like he has to be covered up for, but Kim Min-jae is always there. So I would say this is and then positional wise it obviously makes sense. Like Kubarsi likes to play on the right hand side, Kim Min-jae likes to play on the left hand side. So I think that's going to be my backline.
Okay, I like it. Marka, let's stick with you. Who you got in your midfield there?
Oh, man,
and are you doing a flat 3? Are you playing with an attacking mid?
I'm gonna be playing with a 4-4-2. I personally, because I could not pick one between Lewandowski and Harry Kane. I just could not.
Honestly, that might be the move. I went with a 4-3-3, but you might be right here. I'm interested to see who you got in your midfield then.
So now that is why the things became difficult for me in the midfield, because then you have to pick 4 out of all of those players, man, which was very difficult.
Yeah.
So, and then, like we all know who are in the front too, okay?
Yeah.
Lewandowski and Harry Kane. So that goes out of this team is going to lose all their matches though. But, okay. So on the left-hand side, I've gone for Rafinha.
Love it.
Correct answer.
Yeah.
In the middle, I've gone for, like, if I'm not wrong, Musiala is not going to be playing this match.
Yeah.
And so is Pavlovic is also not going to be playing this match, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So in the midfield, I went for Kimmich and Pedri.
Yep.
Okay. Now
like where you going with this?
was the right wing. Now that was very interesting because see, Lamine Yamal has been top notch, but so has been Michael Olise.
Are you about to leave out Lamine Yamal?
No. See. I mean, I wanted to mention it. That Michael, I didn't just want to come out and be like, oh, Lamine Yamal on the right, because I think that would be very ignorant of how good Michael Olise has been.
Yeah.
He has been too good. One of the finest players for Bayern Munich. Okay. I don't see. I can understand if it could be my bias. It could be my bias. I'm putting it out there. But I don't think that Michael Olise is better than Lamine Yamal. Like, Lamine Yamal is too good. So I'll have him on the right-hand side. So that makes my midfield of Rafinha, Pedri, Kimmich, and on the right-hand side, I've got Lamine Yamal. If Musiala was available and if he was fit, then things would become very different. Then it would be very spicy, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Buga, you want to? Well, what formation did you go with? You go 4-3-3, or did you do something similar?
I went 4-2-3-1 because both teams play the same formation, so I just went position by position. So I went Pedri and Kimmich, both in the double pivot. I think similar to Marka, that's something that can happen. On the left, I also went with Rafinha, so that makes a lot of sense. I went with Lamine Yamal on the right, but the same way as Marka says, Olise, I think, has been absolutely outstanding. He has been the shining light for Bayern Munich alongside Harry Kane. That combination they're making together, it's really good. But as that number 10 position, the two number 10s, well, let's say, the number 10s that Barcelona had at their disposal for this game, I decided to go with Dani Olmo. Because for me, Dani Olmo, even though Dani Olmo is not currently fit enough to play, for me, if Dani Olmo at 50%, it's better than Müller at the moment. That's really what I think. I think Thomas Müller is taking a hit in these past few seasons, but he's still an amazing player.
I just hope Müller doesn't turn up again.
Yeah. I know. He's probably going to score a hat-trick against us now. But Musiala would have been a whole different shot if he could have played this game, right? But I think, as Marka did, the play was probably leaving out this number 10 and having an extra striker. So I think this position is the weakest one of both teams in terms of the players that are going to be featuring in this game. But I've decided to go with Dani Olmo because I just think that right now I'm looking at it. If Dani Olmo you were to play for Bayern Munich, I think he would start over Thomas Müller. That's the way I thought about it. You know, if Dani Olmo was a Bayern Munich player, he would probably play it over Thomas Müller, a game of this magnitude.
Yeah. Ooh, okay. So who do you have at striker then, Buga?
I have Lewandowski at striker.
Okay. I like that. I have a very similar team. I got Pedri and Kimmich in the midfield. I've got Rafinha on the left. I've got Lamine on the right. But I put Müller in at that 10 spot, baby. I'm going there. I'm putting him in there. I'm going to save us from any jinx that you guys may have just created by leaving him out. I think he's a great team player. He knows where the goal is, flat out. And he's a big-time player. He shows up in championship matches. He shows up when you need him, unlike a Harry Kane, which is why I left him out and went with Lewandowski.
But Harry Kane in front of the pod. You forgot about that.
He is a friend of the pod. I understand. And that's why he'll get it. He'll understand where we're coming from. Friendship aside, Harry Kane, he'll be coming off the bench, you know? But yeah, I got Lewandowski for me. He's just too hot this season. If you asked me last year, I would have said Harry Kane.
Yeah, of course.
Obviously.
Right? But this season, Lewandowski, he's just too hot right now. So I got to go Lewandowski for that. So overall, I think we're pretty close on the starting 11. Couple changes in the back, couple changes I think due to formation there, but we're pretty close on an agreed starting 11, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'll be very interested to see what people say in the comments. I know we have some Bayern Munich fans that listen because I've seen you in the comments, and I can't wait to get back to you after this match. But let us know, folks. What's your combined 11 for Bayern Munich and Barcelona? And let's turn the page to Real Madrid, Barcelona combined 11. Who wants to start this one out?
I think it's the same way as the last one. I think the goalkeeper makes his way into this team super easy. That's Courtois.
It's Courtois.
Am I wrong in saying for me Courtois is the best goalkeeper in the world currently? Like he is.
Yeah, he is.
Not for John.
Nope.
Not for what was your nickname? Uncle John. Not for Uncle John.
Uncle John. Yeah, not for Uncle John. I'm gonna drop some wisdom on the pod. It's
Who's the best
Martinez
goalkeeper?
for Aston Villa.
Oh,
I mean, he is really
That's a
good.
big
Like
pick.
he's
That's a
second,
good pick.
but Courtois has something.
see the thing
You know,
is
has
with
an extra
Martinez.
thing.
What happens with Martinez is you really take into account his international football as well, because he has got a huge presence there, unlike
Yes.
Courtois. But
Aura,
on the
baby.
other,
Aura.
yeah, he has got that aura with him. But if you then go back to last season, and then you see in the important matches, or even before that, or for past 3 seasons, you just can't overlook Courtois. Like it's like you mentioned the best goalkeeper in the world, and the first name that pops out is Courtois. So it's understandable that you said Martinez.
I think
Yeah.
legacy
Got that
and
international mention.
achievements come into it as well. And even though Martinez has a lot of achievements, there are some people out there that don't even put Emiliano Martinez like in the top 8 goalkeepers in the world, which for me is insane. For
There's
me,
a lot
he's
of foolish people in the world.
For
You know
me,
what
it's
I mean?
top 3.
You can't
like
stop
100% top 3. So Courtois, well, let's not go over the branches. Courtois is the goalkeeper for this combined 11. I think it's a guaranteed. The defense is interesting because I'm about to not drop some wisdom, but factos. John, what the hell is Militao doing in your team, bro?
I know. I was gonna get shtick for this one. Okay. Yes, I'm going Balde, Rudiger, Militao, Koundé. I understand that. It's the pairing. It's the pairing for me. And I know I split up Barca and Bayern, but Rudiger, Militao, that's a world-beating combo for me. They got pace, they got power, they got that dirtiness when they need it. And so I went with the two. And if you look at the table, Real Madrid has conceded fewer goals this season.
Yeah, but Militao, I don't know. I'm not sure if he has played all the matches.
He hasn't played all of them. I know
before.
they've had Tchouaméni in there plenty of times.
For me, the thing is that right now, I just think that Inu is such a good level, which is a little bit surprising because if I have to pick one center back from Barcelona, I'm taking Inigo, and I'm putting him next to Militao, and I'm saying Inigo can win this battle. I do think that. I think that right now, Inigo is playing at a far higher level than Militao. I think Militao has very high highs, but some very low lows. And right now, it's like, I don't know. I think Inigo has been consistent week in, week out, and we just cannot overlook how good he has been this season. I have Rudiger as well. I think that's a guaranteed. Koundé as a right back. I think Koundé just makes it. Yeah, it would have been interesting to see Carvajal if he was fit, but Koundé already makes it. We don't even have to talk about that.
Rudiger, that would have been the debate.
Yeah.
Like, do you want somebody who's going to be a little bit more attack-minded, or do you want the defensive solidness of Koundé, with respect to his 2 assists today, of course, but you don't really see him as a wing back by any means, Yeah,
but anyhow, at left back, I do have Ferland Mendy. I think Mendy's a really underrated player. I think he's really good for Real Madrid. I think defensively, he's one of the best left backs in the world, if not the best. I really do think that. And even though Balde having a tremendous season, for me, attacking wise, he's superb. But whenever he gets there, out of the 10 opportunities he creates, he just takes 6 of them wrong. And it's
That's fair.
And I know the consistency that Mendy would give me in a left back position is just of a higher level than what Balde can give me. Because at the end of the day, depending on the team and looking at it, I want my left back to defend overall. So that's a typical conversation people have with Trent Alexander-Arnold, players like that. So I have Mendy there. I'm interested to see what people in the comments say, because Mendy is someone who is really easily hated on, and I think that he's really up there with some of the best in. I don't know if certainly this last season has been his best season ever, potentially as a player. So I think he's coming off a very high.
Wow. Okay.
What about you, Mark?
You got for your back 4? Yeah.
Oh, very difficult. Very, very, very difficult. I think the 2 positions that go without a doubt, undebatable, are right back, Koundé, and Rudiger as one of the centre backs. Okay. So that goes there. Now the left back position. See, I personally like Balde more. Okay. I personally like Balde a lot. But then as Buga just said, that Mendy is often not really appreciated for his defensive awareness, for how much available he is for the defense. So that just really, I tried my best to not, create a lot of imbalance in the number of players I'm going to be keeping. So that's how I've tried to keep things. So because I'm going to keep a very midfield heavy Real Madrid team, so I've gone for Balde here and Kubarsi in the back line.
I like it. I mean, there's a lot of different ways you could slice it. I think there's a number of combinations you could go with that I think would get you some wins. So let's move up to the midfield then. Buga, we'll kick it back to you, sir. Who you got in the midfield for this one?
I think the 2 best midfields currently in La Liga. I mean, 2 of the 3. You could say Pedri and Valverde. For me, they're the most consistent both midfielders for each team. I think Pedri is the more consistent midfielder for Barcelona at the moment, and Valverde the same for Real Madrid. Valverde is just such a clutch player. I mean, we know everything about Pedri. If you give me the ability to just talk a bit about Valverde, I'm saying that it's superb how versatile he is as a player. He's just like for the best way to say it is he's like Sergio Roberto on steroids. If Barcelona think Roberto is like versatile, Valverde is just the same thing for Real Madrid, but in another level. He really is a sort of player.
I'll make a different comparison. I think Valverde is their Rafinha. He's the one who's going to outwork everybody else on the pitch. No matter where you put him, he's going to be playing hard defensively. He's going to be playing hard in the attack, making those runs. He's got a cannon of a right boot. A cannon.
Yeah, so it's really difficult to overlook what are the two most consistent midfielders right now for the two best teams at the top of La Liga, so Pedri Valverde.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. What formation are you running here, Buga?
I'm running a 4-2-3-1 as well.
Okay.
So,
Marka, what about you? What formation are you
these are my
with?
two double pivots.
I'm going to be going for a 4-3-3 in this one.
4-3-3,
Technically
okay.
a 4-2-3-1. Technically a 4-2-3-1 as well. But the three midfield choices, or the number 10, including the number 10, the three midfielders are going to be very similar to Buga. It is going to be Valverde, obviously one of the best midfielders in the world right now, along with Pedri, and then Jude Bellingham. So
That's what I got. Yeah, I almost made a last minute change. My heart wants to put Modric in as that number 10.
Yeah.
What?
Dude, because I love Modric. I really do. Respect to Modric at club and international level. He's a magic man. But you can't put Bellingham on the bench.
Bellingham
Over Modric.
I don't have Bellingham in my team.
What?
Really?
Yeah,
Who you got in
I
there?
don't have it. I think Rafinha as a number. I put Rafinha as a number 10. I think Rafinha is having a far better season than Bellingham.
Because the thing is, the difficult part was choosing between Rafinha and Vinicius for the left wing. Now that was the difficult part.
Yeah, I decided to avoid that completely. I just decided to put Rafinha inside because even Rafinha is a number 10. He's doing an incredible job. So Rafinha is a number 10. He's there. He's playing amazing football. Just keep him there because for me, the other best way to solve this issue is that there are other three players that I can simply not leave out. So those three players, they have to be in the team. And Rafinha also had to be in the team. And right now, I think that if you take Rafinha out of Barcelona and you take Bellingham out of Real Madrid, there's more impact in Rafinha being out of Barcelona. And that ultimately made my decision for who keeps that number 10 position. But I do agree. I think Bellingham is such a wonderful player. But I'm looking at just today, I'm going with Rafinha. I think he's surprising me, honestly. Like, I've said this since the game against PSG, where he literally won that game alone. Not alone, but, like 60% was him.
Yeah.
Away from home. Since then, I've been calling for Rafinha. Like, I already think he's like world class. Like, he has, his perception of a player for me has just elevated so much, really. So yeah. Rafinha.
All right, so finish out your lineup then, Buga. You got Rafinha at the number 10. You got Vinny Jr. on the left.
Number 10. I got Vinny Jr. on the left. I at the start, I put Rafinha on the left and then Bellingham for the middle. But I just said, stupid. I cannot leave Vinicius Jr. out. Like, it's just stupid. So Vinicius Jr. on the left, Jamal on the right, and up top, Roberto Tito Lewandowski.
Okay. What? Wait, hold on. Really?
Yeah. Who's on his right?
Lamine on the right, but he went Lewandowski through the middle.
Center. Okay, that makes sense.
John is surprised. I don't know why.
I'm a little bit surprised.
Let's Marka give his
let Marka give his three.
John, I know your lineup, and your lineup is like, I just want to be like, what the hell, dude? Boomer.
So we know. So my number 10 was Bellingham, right? And the center, my double pivot were Valverde and Pedri. Now for the left wing, I had to pick between Vinicius and Rafinha. Now, so far this season, without a doubt, Rafinha has been top-notch, by far the better player. But see, the thing is, I feel like the only reason why Vinicius Jr. is not playing as good as he technically has the ability to play is Madrid's inability to figure out their attacking plans. Okay, Madrid's inability to kind of deal with Vinicius and then Mbappe's favoritism towards that left flank. And then Madrid has Vinicius, for example, had such a good chemistry with Rodrigo, and before that with Benzema. I think he has not really able to formulate that kind of chemistry with Mbappe, for example, for now.
Yeah.
So I think that is the reason why he has been struggling so much. For me personally, Vinicius Junior is the best left winger in the world. So that is why I have picked him over Rafinha, put him on the left side. Like, I just don't want to pick Rafinha on the basis of just this season, though he has been the better player this season. But then, because he's playing in a team which is helping him be so good, Vinicius, on the other hand, is playing on a team which is still figuring out themselves. So that is why I went for Vinicius on the left, because still, as solely as an individual, I feel he's, as I said, the best left winger in the world.
Yeah.
On the striker, I have also gone for Robert Lewandowski, which is not a debate. Kylian Mbappe is really struggling to find. I mean, I know eventually he's going to be. I just hope he doesn't score a hat trick against Barcelona and then shuts all of us off. But then, I like, so far, Mbappe for this Madrid team, and then Lewandowski for this Barcelona team. So I think it is a pretty obvious choice. It is a pretty obvious choice. And then right wing, so I think it is pretty obvious. Lamine Yamal. No
Yeah,
debate.
I am really excited to hear why John.
Don't spoil it.
Yeah,
Don't
just
spoil
say it. Say it.
All right, I'll explain. But my front three, I'm going Rafinha on the left, I'm going Mbappe in the middle, and I'm going Lamine on the right. Here's why.
Why?
Because here's why. Because Vinny Jr. is the problem. That's why. Respect to his talent. Respect to his ability. Respect the.
Dude, he's gonna win the Ballon d'Or like by this time next week.
I do not give the tiniest little shit about anything that he does on the pitch, other than his attitude.
You make the clips on this channel. You're gonna clip yourself as well. I hope you do.
Bring it. Bring the heat. Bring the comments. I want it all. Okay, I want the smoke, people, because Vinny Jr. is the biggest baby, the biggest antagonist in Europe. I hate his attitude. I hate how he plays. You could offer me Vinny Jr. for free, and it's a no. It's a no for me. If you said free transfer, free salary, no, don't want him. He would never play a minute for my club. Never, ever, ever would you see Vinny Jr. make my team.
John, listen to me. Where do you live, bro? Where do you live? Come on, tell me. You live in USA, right? You live in USA,
yes, sir.
Right?
Give me the American heat. I know.
Listen to me, John.
Yes.
Though I understand your rage, but if you ever reject Vinicius Junior on free, I'm gonna fly to USA personally to rip your head apart, bro. Don't you dare make that mistake, brother.
Bro,
Listen,
like
here's the thing. I am on record. You can go and find my solo channel and go back to my first video where I said the same things about Neymar. So it's not even about club. It is about the attitude. I hate showboating and being a baby. You combine those two things, and I can't.
If they
stand
offer
it.
you Neymar, prime Neymar 2015, would you reject Neymar? Like,
over today's Rafinha,
yeah.
Let's say
I would take Rafinha. I'm gonna be consistent here. I would take Rafinha.
Dude,
Rafinha.
Rafinha would take
Rafinha.
Neymar over him. Rafinha would be like, I don't want to play if it means Neymar cannot play. You know, Rafinha would take Neymar over himself. Oh my god.
Listen, like I said, I'll take the heat. I'll take the smoke.
Okay,
I
so
know
that's
exactly what I'm doing here.
Choice number one, Marka. That is choice number one. This guy still picked Mbappe over Lewandowski.
And I did this for exactly what Marka said. We are not seeing the full Mbappe. And I know that I should be picking based off of current form, which would be Lewandowski, right? So let me first acknowledge let's not say what the accusations are, because YouTube will totally just bury us in the algorithm. There are accusations going on with Mbappe. So if any of that becomes true, I am revoking everything that I am saying about him that's positive. Okay, let me just say that. With that set aside, I think Mbappe is, at the end of this season, going to find his form. We're going to see full Mbappe. He had a ripper against Celta Vigo just yesterday. I think he's one of the rare players that has the expectation of hitting the ground running when he joins a top club. Most players, you give them a little bit of time to get settled in, to build up that chemistry, to find their form, so to speak. But Mbappe, being Mbappe, you expect him to just hit the ground running and not miss a beat. So current form, yes, Lewandowski is scoring more goals. He's in better form right now. But if I'm putting together a team, I got to go with Mbappe.
Okay.
And the
maybe
crowd
in the
goes
next
silent.
El Clasico. maybe in the next El Clasico you'll make more sense to me. and Bua. Maybe in the next El
Yes,
Clasico.
indeed. My goodness. Happy to be the one that brings the controversy.
No, but because you're right. See, you're right. Like in the long term, it obviously makes sense that to pick Mbappe. But it's just that right now, what Mbappe is right now.
Respect. Do you guys think I'll get more hate for not including Vinny Jr. or for including Mbappe?
Not including Vinny Jr. Because the worst part,
both.
the worst part is that there's room for both. Like the biggest question for me is why the hell do you guys have Bellingham in your team? Like he's good, but this season I think he has the same thing as Mbappe. Like I agree. I think that if Real Madrid need one player to step up this season, it's Jude Bellingham because he's the only one that has the skill set to at least do and produce 70% of what Toni Kroos wanted to do. He's the only player that can do that in that squad, alongside Modric, who is like already 40 years of age. So like he needs to step up, but I do think that for me right now, I'm comparing Rafinha to Bellingham, and I do think Rafinha it's a bit higher up than Bellingham at the moment.
I do think that actually might be the move, to be completely fair, to be completely honest about it. That might have been the move. Slide Rafinha into a number 10 and start Vinny Jr. out on that. That might have been the move. And I actually, to go back to Bayern, I like what Marka did, actually. If I'm going to steal it. The 4-4-2 with Lewandowski and Harry Kane might also have been the move.
Yeah.
So,
see, what I would like to say on Bellingham is that, though I do agree that he can do so much more than what he's doing this season, but I would say the last season, everybody judged him so much on the basis of the output he was giving, on the basis of the numbers he was producing, that people have completely... See, the thing is, if you watch Madrid this season, you would kind of see a pattern where the midfield and the attack line kind of disconnects. Okay, the attack line, once the ball reaches the attack line, it's like, okay, how are now the attack line going to connect with each other and then try to bring a goal out? Vinicius, Mbappe, if there is a third person playing, Rodrigo, or if there is Enrique, anyone, any third player. So what I can see this season is that Bellingham, as I said, that it is both Vinicius and Bellingham, and even they are kind of getting sacrificed in the way of trying to figure out how to use Mbappe. So I think that is why you'd see Bellingham doing a lot of things which he was not doing last season, but he's capable of doing those. Okay, so I feel like I'm not trying to portray that Mbappe is the fault of them playing like that, but I just feel like, because obviously it's three great players with overlapping attributes, and now they have to somehow figure out that who gets to do what. You can't have three players doing the same thing in a team. You have to eventually figure out, out of us three, which one is going to be the one who's going to be taking the ball deeper, kind of progressing it, or who is going to be the one who's going to make the second runs in the box, who is going to play as shadow striker, or you have to kind of figure those things out. So I think that by the time they figure they out, they are going to be back again to what they were last season. That is why Vinicius and Bellingham don't look the same this season for now. So, but I still trust the quality, man. There, but picking Rafinha or Vinicius on current form makes 110% sense. Makes 110% sense, man. I had to really take the dagger on that one, and I wanted to just kind of ensure the number of players is not that uneven. So I kept
Marka,
it
you're a
like that.
really good politician.
Oh, thank you, man.
Like, I mean that. Like, you're really like, like it's like you managed to not get hate. I want that talent.
We'll see. We'll see. But yeah,
No.
he articulated that
impossible.
very well.
That's impossible on internet.
Yeah,
That
for
is
sure.
really- Dude, you can
Okay.
you're gonna get hate for like anything, but that argument,
anything,
for anything.
Yeah.
That's how
Yeah.
people are.
People are gonna hate you
Okay.
for this as well. How did you say that you can get hate for anything?
Yeah, they're gonna hate.
Yeah, exactly.
Why are you wearing the third worst kit ever in the history of Barcelona? Like, no, we didn't like that kit.
Oh my goodness, he pulls it off though. Marka looks good.
Yeah,
in
he
it.
does. I love that kid, by the way. I really do think it's underrated.
Yeah.
And I like the white kid as well. Anyhow,
True.
okay.
All right, we've been going for some time here. Let's wrap it up with predictions. Barcelona hosting Bayern Munich.
Yes, sir.
I'll kick it off. I'm going to go 4-2 Barcelona because I do think the high line against Bayern Munich is going to burn us a couple times. They got some pace in the attack, so I don't think a clean sheet's going to happen. I'm going 4-2 for Barcelona in that one.
I don't know. I'm gonna go a 3-2. I think it's gonna be like Barca score first, then Bayern Munich equalize, then it's 2-1 for Bayern Munich, then Barca gonna get back into the game, and then we win it in the last few minutes. That's how I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be that sort of things, I mean, I did say last season that Vitor Roque was gonna take us to the semifinals of the UCL. Remember? So
Yeah. Marka, who you got for Barcelona versus Bayern?
I think it's gonna be too good to believe that we win both games. So I think we are not gonna win this one, but we are not gonna lose it either. I think we are going to draw against Bayern Munich. I'm gonna say a 2-2 draw.
yeah, I think
That's fair. That's fair.
That's fair as well. I think the 2-2 is more possible, makes more sense.
Yeah.
Particularly, you know why? Because also Bayern Munich coming into this game, like they also have to win this game, so they're gonna be a little bit cautious. They're not gonna be like playing the normal advanced attractive football that we know they can play under company. They're gonna have to wait a little bit. Like against Stuttgart, I think if I'm not wrong, they scored all the 4 goals in the second half. So it's like I think they're gonna study first the waters and let Barcelona do a little bit of their own thing. But that's where we need to score a goal right from the get-go. We need to get a goal very first few minutes. Try to hit them out of the dressing room.
You know what?
out of the shower.
Let me be outrageous. Either it's a 2-2 draw or Barcelona is winning it 3-0. Yeah.
Marka
There's
said,
nothing
I
in the
want some
middle.
heat in the comments too.
There's nothing in the middle. There's nothing
He just took the politics and threw it out the window.
Screw the politics.
Oh man, I love that. Okay. That is a fair point.
It's
Go ahead.
because of what Buga said. It's
Yeah.
because of what he said that Bayern Munich, they want to win this match, and there might be a moment where they could let the desperation get on to them. There might be a moment. See, this was my thought process, because even if they keep the first half steady, Barcelona is a team which they're no more a team which you can let them have the possession and they will wait for you to open up. They are a team that if you want to stop them from scoring, you have to take the ball away from them. If they have the ball, they will try to look for spaces to score. Simple as that. They're not a team that they're going to pass sideways, try to figure out a way to score. It's like they don't wait. So I think in that sense, Bayern Munich in the first half might try to get more hold of the ball. And then in second half, they might want to be much more courageous because they've lost their last match against Aston Villa. And it could go either way.
Yeah, it is interesting. Both teams sitting on 3 points, 1 win, 1 loss.
We're next to each other. We're 15 and 16th in the table.
Yeah. So it's interesting. I hope it's not a snooze fest. I hope it doesn't actually end 0-0 because neither team's trying to lose this one.
No, it's not gonna be. I can
Neither
guarantee.
team's trying to win. I mean,
I can guarantee it's not gonna be. I don't think it's gonna
all
be.
right. Well, we got the Buga guarantee on that one, so I feel good. Let's wrap it up then with the Real Madrid match. Who wants to go first?
Buga.
Nah, this one is.
I vote Buga too.
I think it's at the Bernabeu. I think. Oh my god! I don't know, bro. I don't know. I don't want. I can. Is that I can totally see such a stupid referee decision, something like that going. I don't
Penalty,
know.
por favor, Real Madrid.
How is the song? Otro penalti para Real Madrid. Penalty para Real Madrid. I think that you haven't heard that. Is it only like
No.
in Spanish? In
No.
Spanish.
I haven't come across that. That's awesome.
Someone made a cover of like Another One Bites the Dust, but like
Yeah.
of penalti para Real Madrid.
Send me that.
Penalti para Real Madrid. Se cae
love that.
Modric. Se cae somebody else. Okay, I think. Oh my god. Oh my, it's so hard. I'm gonna go at. I think this one would be. I think this is the draw. I'm gonna go a. I think this one is a 1-1 draw. I think Real Madrid do a good job of defending. They've done that this season very well. So
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw.
I'm going with the most popular scoreline in El Clasico, the most common, I should say. 2-1, the good guys, Barcelona. Shake it off.
Okay.
Shake it off. 2-1 Barca.
I too am inclined towards a draw, but a high scoring draw. And I think Mbappe is going to be a star player because looking at how the things have been for Barcelona, them struggling against pacey players, that high line of theirs, I don't expect Barcelona to change their approach to a match for a game, like for any game. I don't think that they're going to be, we can't defend high line against Mbappe, so let's sit back. I don't think that's happening. So there is no way that we're keeping a clean sheet against Kylian Mbappe, Vinicius. That's not happening.
Yeah.
So we're
yeah.
conceding definitely. But I feel like this is where we can sort of prove. See, we have been scoring goals, okay. But are we really good goal scorers? That is the real test when you face the best defense.
Yeah.
And that is what it is going to come to test. I'm more interested about, can we score goals and how many can we on this Real Madrid side. So though I was initially not very like until yesterday I was not feeling very positive about this match. I was feeling like Madrid is going to nick out a win because that's what
Yeah.
they do. Like they are always under the shadows, nobody's talking about them, and then they face Barcelona and then boom, you see what happens. So I'm a bit scared about it, but I feel like it's going to be a 2-2 draw. I hope it is a 2-2 draw. I'm not going to predict a Barcelona win. I hope it happens. I'm not going to predict it because as we all know, man, Madrid does it every time. The more you ignore them, the more powerful they become.
Ugh. It scares me. It scares me. Like I said, I just want these matches to be tomorrow and the next day just because I'm going to be nothing but nerves up
Get done
until
with
the
it.
final
Dude,
whistle of the El
John,
Clasico.
next spot, we're already going to know the results.
Fire, baby. Fire. I'm so excited.
Have me over on the next time as well. I would.
If you're free, we'd love to have you back. We can
yeah.
recap this.
I'd
we'll
love to see how all this cooking we all did, 1 hour and 25 minutes. Where did it all lead us to?
yes, it's gonna be nuts. I love it. Hopefully, we will have Pablo back for that one, so the four of us can have a lovely conversation. But Marka, you are absolutely welcome back for the next one. You're welcome anytime. You know this. Other than that, where can people find you, Marka?
Oh, you can find me on Instagram with Markaroni_YT, and you can find me on Twitter as well. John follows me. It's Muktesharma. I don't know if you Muktesharma. So yeah, that's
Not to be confused with Markiplier.
Yeah, we'll
I'm not
put
Markiplier.
all your handles. We'll put all your handles in the description. So if you are looking for Marka, scroll down, find them in the description. We love having you on here, Marka. Great conversation. Thanks to everybody for listening. Big week for Barcelona. Come back next week so we can do a recap of Bayern Munich, El Clasico, and more. All the Barcelona news and great conversation right here on Mes Que Un Podcast. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
bye.